Warning: it is important that prior to performing this or any other safety or service procedure on any Heil product, that the person performing the work has both read and firmly understands the parts and service manual as well as the product operator's manual, including the detailed instructions that accompanied this vehicle. If there is anything that is unclear or that you don't understand, do not attempt to operate the vehicle or perform any of the service or maintenance tasks called out in this video. Quarantine the area, walk away from the vehicle, and contact your supervisor immediately for clarification. It is also important to ensure you are wearing the appropriate personal protective equipment, hereafter referred to as PPE, prior to beginning this or any other service or maintenance procedure. Hey, I'm Travis Wallen, the service guru at Heil Environmental in beautiful Fort Payne, Alabama. Thanks for joining me at the Service Shack. Today we're going to show you the ins and outs of our new 7-inch Insight display. The Heil Insight display is the information center for the operator and a great troubleshooting tool for the service technician. The operator can see warnings and reasons why the system may prevent a function so it can be corrected and the vehicle can be operated in a safe and productive manner. For the service tech, the display shows information regarding sensor failures and with proper training can be used to test sensors and other inputs and output functions. When the truck key is switched on, the screen will show whether the pump is on or off, if the hydraulic oil is low or okay, as well as the conditions of other vehicle operations. Please note that when the truck is started, the cameras are displayed by default. To toggle from camera mode to the Heil screen, press and hold the top right button for about 5 seconds. And to toggle back to the cameras, hold the top left button for about 5 seconds, or just cycle the key switch power. Note, on previous units, to toggle to the Heil display, hold the OK button and the top right buttons at the same time for about 5 seconds. To toggle back to the camera mode screen, hold the OK button and the top left buttons at the same time for about 5 seconds. I got a quick tip for you. You can temporarily view any message on the control screen by holding down the right directional button. To return to the camera screen, simply release the button. Let's take a look at the buttons on the Heil controller display and learn what those buttons control. The Home button. Press this button anytime you want to return to the home screen. Counters. It lets you monitor daily arm cycles, daily pack cycles, pump hours, and so forth. Camera button. Here you can enter the password, press OK, and it'll give you an option screen. Using the directional button, you can scroll through the list of camera options. You can select to turn on or off the cameras that are installed on your unit. To obtain the password, simply call Heil Tech Services at 1-866-310-4345. Brightness. This adjusts the brightness of the screen. Options. This takes you to the option configuration screen. Service. View inputs, multiplex inputs, remote inputs, set points, outputs, and remote outputs from the service screen. Calibration. This button's for calibration mode. It will ask you for a password and then guide you through the calibration process of setting the forks, arms, and packer sensors. Maintenance. Maintenance mode is used to reset counters and enter service mode. The directional button with the center button. This button allows you to scroll up, down, left, and right while viewing inputs or outputs or other data. The center button is an OK button to confirm a selection. So what is an input? An input is a signal received by the controller from switches or sensors. These include items like proximity switch signals, packer position sensor, pump on-off push buttons, system power, and push buttons to extend and retract the packer. Any signal sent by a switch or sensor to the controller are called inputs and can be viewed on the Cortex controller display. These screens will show the state of all input switches or sensors. Once you are on an input screen, you may need to scroll down to see all of the inputs on that screen. Here's an example of how it works. Let's take a look at our side door proc switch signal. When the door is closed, the signal from the proc switch will travel to the Cortex controller. When this happens, the display will show the input to be on. And when you open the door or you lose the side door proximity switch signal, the display will also show that input to be turned off. So let's take a look at what we'll find in the service mode. By pressing the service button and scrolling through the service mode, we see the input screen for the main Cortex controller, the input extended screen, which are for inputs on side 2 of the main controller, multiplex inputs, these are inputs from the switch bank, remote inputs, which are from the remote node controller, set points, these are calibration set points. And as we scroll forward, the outputs from the main controller, then we see the output extended screen, which are outputs from side 2 of the main controller, remote outputs, these are outputs from the remote node controller, and control power, which shows the status of the controller's ignition control power. So what's an output? An output is a signal sent from the controller to turn something on or to make something happen. Any signal that is sent out of the controller is an output, such as signals sent to valve coils to move a valve spool or to turn on a light. For example, let's take a look at our cab lights. If we turn on this switch, an input is sent to the controller sends an output to turn on the light. After the switch and output are turned on, the output will show the light is on the display screen. The Heil half-pack controls switch banks are easy to troubleshoot. There are 4 wires going to each switch bank strip, 1 12-volt wire, 1 ground wire, and 2 networking wires. Here's how to troubleshoot. If all power is lost to the switch bank, check the 12 volts or ground signal. If these are present, the problem may be a failed switch bank. If only one switch has lost power or one switch stops working, then the switch itself has failed. Another way to test switch banks is to look for the input from the switch in the multiplex input screen on the display. If a switch fails, you'll need to replace the switch bank for that row, as the switch banks are most likely not repairable. I hope this video has helped you understand what you need to know about the Heil Insight display. Thanks for watching. Remember, we're here to help in any way we can. So be safe out there, and we'll see you next time here at the Service Shack.